Oh, good morning, everyone. Look at that. The sun is starting to come up on this fabulous Tuesday morning in Australia. Probably heading into, I guess, Monday evening. Welcome to the smallest channel on YouTube that takes on the biggest issues. This is a drive therapy session, which is where I'm stuck in traffic on my daily commute to work. So I go live and we get things off our chests. It's a form of therapy. It's cheaper than therapy. Um, and if you're lucky, I might even treat you to my bad singing as well. I mean, what is not to love? But this morning I feel it necessary. Hey, Deb. Oh, it's getting so dark in the mornings now. Like, I can't believe I've just left home with my lights on at 7 a.m. Don't get me wrong, though. I'm very excited that I'm wearing boots today. I do love my boots. So, Um, this morning, my drive therapy topic is the dastardly world of bad grammar and weird expressions on the YouTubes. Because we've all been mucking around on YouTube for a while, and we've all seen and heard people saying things. Hello, Anne, hello. You did catch a live. Crystal John, good morning. I want to be that girl walking down the hill in her dressing gown and pajamas still. I want to be her. She can get in the car and do drive therapy and go to work. I've got such a shitty day. Well, it won't be shitty. It's just full on. I'm not going to have time to scratch myself today. And it's a 2-day week. And I like logging off at the end of Tuesday and knowing that I've done everything I need to do before I finish for the day. But today it's going to be a race against the clock. AJ, about Justice, good morning, gorgeous. Sun's coming up now. God, dark until 7 a.m. is bleak. Winter is coming. Don't get me wrong, though. I love all of the seasons of Taswegia. And the autumn leaves haven't really started to appear yet. We've still got autumn before winter. But this is your chance to get it off your chest if there's and I've got heaps of examples, and I'll think of more while I'm driving along. Pickle Pickle is greeted in your list of attendees. Thanks for that, AJ. Hi, Pickle Pickle. But we've all been frolicking on YouTube and we hear things and we go, oh. The one I want to start with, I'll get the ball rolling, but this is the one where we can put things out there, discuss it. Now, I know that there are cultural differences as well, but that doesn't mean, as an observer from afar, that you just go, how does that expression mean something completely different? Or how has it been altered to actually minimise its effectiveness? Or why the fuck are you even saying that word? What does it mean? And we can get it all off our chest and get on with our day, because I can't be distracted by bad grammar on YouTube today. Or weird. I shouldn't say bad. It's bad from my perspective in that it's not familiar to how we speak here. It's good for the people where they live, but it's still a difference that makes me go a little bit, wowzer. There's not a lot, like, I follow some lawyers and scientists and academic types on YouTube that have on the YouTubulars. We need Tubular Bells playing. Does anyone remember that, or am I the only old person in this current live? The YouTubular Bells, that could be our theme song for when we talk about this stuff. But yeah, I mean, I follow a lot of academics and a lot of lawyers, and they're very eloquent and have vast vocabularies, and some of them are just almost musical to listen to when they're speaking. But in, like, the communities where we all originally found ourselves, there's not a lot of eloquent creators or subscribers. I mean, me personally, I think the most eloquent person with the most diverse grammar that I've heard in the sort of true crime / drama / bitching / what the fuck communities is but there's not many like her, you know what I'm saying? And this isn't about, you know, what was that? Speaking of bell, your dishwasher's ringing. The bells. Hello, Scout. Sunny's very sad because she knows I'm off to work again, which means she's got the whole day to do whatever she wants at home, trash the joint, just sleep. She doesn't get it. Like, I leave, I'm like, I don't want to go to work. I want to stay at home and be you. You go to work. Off you go. And I get this little crestfallen face because I can't spend my entire day chasing her. She literally would let me chase her for an entire day if I could. She's gorgeous. She just wants to play all the time. Oh, I cut out. Who? Oh, I was saying, I think the most eloquent person I've seen sort of in those true crime, drama / bitching / what the fuck communities, like outside of the academic channels that I follow, I think the most eloquent person I've heard live would be Space Monster. She's got a very diverse vocabulary and she is eloquent. She's got a very good command of the English language. And she doesn't say fuck every 8 words like I can at times. Sunny is a happy place, although she turns on the sad face. Don't leave me. I say to her, I have to go and make money to buy you all the food that you like to eat. See, I thought we could just talk about things that people say on YouTube that, you know, the definitions have been completely rewritten for the YouTubulars for some reason. I don't know if she goes live much anymore, Pickle. She's had a pretty rough experience on YouTube, so a lot of her content's about that. Like, hideously bad in some regards, but she's very eloquent. Yeah, little Sunny. She's she turns on the sad. You know the Puss in Boots in Shrek. She does that face when he's standing there with his little hat, holding his hat. His eyes are welling with tears. That's the face I get when I'm leaving home from Sunny. It haunts me all day. And then I get home and I've missed her and I'm so excited to see her, and she's just like, dinner now. I don't care if you're busting to go to the loo. I don't care if you've got other things you want to do. Dinner now. And then she proceeds to ignore me. She's funny. She is a funny girl. I need to do some videos of her. She's started playing on her cat tower thingamy now, and she's very funny on it. So I've got to get some footage. Cranking up a scammer at the moment to get the scam baiting happening. And starting to cook interesting stuff and not just making salads every day. So we'll also be cranking that up again. But yeah, Sunny has a gigantic personality. She's turned out to be the best cat to get after Biscuit, who had the most massive personality in any animal I've ever known. But let's get some grammar and weird pronunciations and warped definitions on YouTube off our chest for things that irk us. And I'll get this discussion going. I don't understand how the expression "I couldn't care less" is often said on YouTube. I could care less. I mean, I couldn't care less means you are at the absolute lowest point of fucks to give that you can possibly get. You couldn't care any less. Like, you are as low as you will go. I couldn't eat another bite. You are as full as you're ever going to be. You're full as fuck. There is no more room for even a wafer thin mint. That's what I couldn't care less means. It means I am totally out of fucks to give. I could care less means you're not at that point yet. There is still less care in you. And you could care less, but for some reason you're choosing not to. But there is room for more caring or less caring. I don't get it. I don't get why people say things like that and don't realise that they're not saying what they think they're saying. I don't think it means what you think it means. What movie is that from? Is it Princess Bride? Look at the sunrise reflecting up on the clouds. The sunrise is behind me. But look at all of those pinks in the skies. Pretty. So, yeah, that's my first one, but there's more. But I thought I'd start with that one. If you could care less, you have not run out of fucks to give. There's still a few fucks to give floating around. Does that irk anyone, or is it just me? Speaking of just me, I used to see just me around all the time in my chatters. Haven't seen just me for ages. 20, say hello. It is beautiful, Scout. Yeah, we're getting all the grammar stuff that annoys us on YouTube off our chest on this drive. Although on another completely different tangent, I used to love tweeting during bad reality shows and doing heaps of one-liners and stuff, and then for some reason I stopped. But last night on Australian Survivor, I was absolutely delighted at the outcome at Tribal Council and went hither and thither to Twitter to celebrate with all the tweeters, and clearly struck, and I won't say what I'm talking about, but clearly struck a nerve with somebody who obviously wanted the person who got the flick to win. And I do have to say the person that got the flick was female, because this is a critical point of the story. Oh, Scout, it irks you too. But is that how that expression is said, like across the US, or is it like you're at on the ground intel, or is it sort of endemic to certain states? Like, is that how you all say it, or is it some people say it that way and other people say I couldn't care less? And if anyone does remember the movie, I don't think that means what you think it means. I've got a feeling it's Princess Bride. It's across the US, Tawny. You say couldn't. Oh, good girl. Because you realise saying you could care less means you've still got fucks to give, right? I mean, it's, if someone's at dinner, and this is the clearest way I can explain it, and they say, I could eat more, then they could eat more. But if they say, I couldn't eat any more, they're full as a goog, no room left. It does mean you still care if you say, I could care less. Oh, do you watch and enjoy Australian Survivor, Scout? Because I've got to say, I feel like US Survivor has sort of lost its way. The last season was really disappointing. The one in Fiji that was only 28 days and they introduced all of these twists. But, oh, yeah, so on the Twitters, I was a bit excited because the person who went is not someone that I think has ended up playing a great game. And as far as I'm concerned, when people get booted and all these dicks are on Twitter going, oh, the greatest player of all time, it's like they didn't win it. So, no, they're not. And, no one in this series is a better player than that one. Well, they are, because one of the crucial 3 things you need to do to win Survivor, one of them is outlast. And if you're booted before the end of it and you're not the ultimate winner, you didn't outlast, so you're not the greatest player. Every player that's still in it is a better player than the person who went last night. Scout, if you can tap into an Australian season of Survivor, and this one was good because it had Sandra, who's won twice, Survivor twice in the US, and her daughter, Nina, because the Aussie one is very similar to the original US, although there was a ripper twist this year. There's been a few, actually. But anyway, to cut a long story short, this guy on Twitter, who obviously liked the girl that got the flick last night, his response to my tweet was, just admit you're sexist and move on. And I'm like, huh? What? I know that women can be sexist about other women, but how am I sexist because I'm celebrating the demise of a person in Survivor who I wasn't fond of? Originally I was, but it's a blood and water season and her husband's in it, and when the tribe merged, I think he fucked up her game. I love The Amazing Race. I'm watching, so don't tell me because it's down to nearly the last week. I'm watching the current season that kicked off after the COVID ended it after 2 shows or whatever it was, 2 episodes. Dude, I was going to let him in, but there's too much of trafficker now. She's letting him in. I can't hold up 150 cars. He still hasn't been able to turn it. She's given up too. So, yeah, I am watching the current US, but no spoilers. But I'm not enjoying that one either because of COVID. Quite a few of the teams that started out originally are no longer, didn't come back for it 20 months later or whatever it was. But, yeah, so this dude on Twitter has called me sexist because I was like, my comment was people praising her game. It wasn't that good because she didn't outlast everyone else, and you can't win Survivor without lasting. And he called me sexist. And she's a chick, and I'm a chick. So I wrote back, you must be a hoot at parties. And then I said, sexist how? I was team, I won't say her name for anyone who might be watching it and hasn't seen it yet. Although I've kind of given it away because I mentioned her husband. But I was her until she turned sneaky. But I'm still team Shay, another chick in it who I want to win it. Like, how is me being excited that someone I don't like in Survivor got booted out of Tribal sexist? So it's kind of on a par with what we're talking about. All right, so we've dissected I couldn't care less. Yeah, Lorianne, it's the year. Well, it's not the year. It's the time for labels, right? I mean, there's a girl in the current Australian Married at First Sight who lies and uses a shitload of, and it does my head in. She accused this girl of being on a rampage. This girl literally went to her apartment and knocked on the door and asked her a couple of questions. You were on a rampage, and I closed the door in your face when you started yelling, and they're like, there wasn't any yelling. But yeah, the labels. So yeah, we've dealt with I couldn't care less, which means I have absolutely no fucks to give anymore, versus I could care less, which means I still care a little bit. There's still a bit of care there. White knighting. Here's another one. I just find on YouTube they sort of latch onto an expression, and the first person that uses it doesn't Google it and work out what it means, and then everyone starts using it too. White knighting is one that gets used a lot, not as much as it used to, but it did get used a lot on YouTube for a while. Remember the song Signs that holds up today? Oh, I don't know. I might have to Google Sign. What, signs, signs, everywhere signs, that song? Pickle, pickle, you watching maths? If she says smash the glass in my face one more time, I'm actually going to smash a glass, literally, in my face. Oh, we've got bulldog now instead of white knighting. I don't know. Can you guys see the sun reflecting over on those houses over on Midway Point? You've got more of a panoramic view than I have, but it's so pretty. Oh, yeah. I saw the sun. I don't like Ace of Base. Joyride. I said, hello, you fool. I love you. Come on, join the joyride. It sounds like some pervert abducting someone to take them out into a remote paddock and kill them, you know? I mean, first they've called them a fool, then they've said, I love you. So they're, what the fuck? And then, come on, join the joyride out to a remote forest where you will end up in a shallow grave. Oh, yeah, no. And the whistling. Never been a fan of songs with whistling. Okay, so the signs, everywhere are signs. So white knighting. White knighting, you can see the reflections on the water. Nice. White knighting originally. Yeah, I agree. There's so many stalkerish 80s. So, I mean, Every Breath You Take is the ultimate stalker song, and what a great song it is too. But yeah, there's a lot of creepy shit going on in 80s music. When you listen back to it now, you're like, whoa. Oh, Scout, I've been meaning to tell you, I'm seeing 1927. I had to search my emails to find out when it had been rescheduled because it was postponed last year because of COVID. It's August. Reese Walton, hello. I read your very long message. And I noticed a previous message back in January that I hadn't seen before. I might have got swallowed up when I was getting all my birthday messages. But yeah, sorry I didn't get a chance to reply to that because, it's Tuesday morning, I'm on my way to work, and it looked like it needed a lot of consideration. It was quite full on to wake up to. I was like, oh, okay, there's a podcast. Yeah, so I'm seeing them in August. Probably won't be able to film them or anything, but I'll see if I can get some sort of... I'll definitely be able to get some sneaky photos, surely. I should be able to video them. We'll see. Imagine if I could go live streaming 1927 just for you, Scout. Be like, here's your boy Eric. You should fly over here and come and see them with me. I'm taking my friend Kim, who has the same birthday as me. Like, we're birthday 20s. It was a birthday present I bought us a couple of years ago, so it'd be nice to... You nearly sent a long one about gender reassignment. I wake up to that. It was funny, Ruth, because I read it. I was like, oh, not before coffee. Not before coffee. But yeah, and I won't get to it today because today at work is crazy. But yeah, so white knighting. No one's throwing out any things they've heard on YouTube that make them get a little bit stabby or just a bit, or even just a bit, I don't think what you think it means is what it means. White knighting. White knighting is a term that was used for men who essentially stood up for feminists, but in a little twist, also had the attitude that they were better feminists than feminists. But men can be feminists, but pre that, that was the term used to describe men defending feminists, and some even claiming to be better feminists than the feminists. That's what it meant. But not on the YouTubes. Alan Alda, I remember him. He was in MASH. Another show that I probably really liked the first time I saw it, but because it has been replayed a gazillion times, even the music irritates me now. But what's the deal with Alan Alda? Is he a white knight? I'm so confused. Now, look, don't get me wrong. Over time, expressions do get modernised and the definitions get broadened and they start being used in different contexts. But the white knighting one used to make me laugh. Because it's not even close to what it means. But someone once upon a time said, oh, look at you off white knighting for so-and-so. And then everyone jumped on that bandwagon and I was like, how many men on YouTube are defending feminism? And why are very few of the people accused of white knighting female? I mean, men. Oh, I can't read that, Tawny, in lowercase. Unfortunately. And someone said something about women's rights. I can't really read at the moment. I'm going to be on the freeway shortly. But hopefully there'll be some crawly commuting happening too, so I can have a glance. But yeah, I can't read lowercase. I'm wearing my reading glasses, but the phone is a long way from my snout. But if you write it in caps, oh, here's one that I do actually love. I love people on YouTube who write, "You're dumb, you're stupid, you're an idiot," and they spell your Y-O-U-R. I love those people. I take a shot of straight tequila every time I see that, and I don't. No, I would if I still drank. How dumb can you be? You're calling someone dumb, and you're saying Y-O-U-R. You're dumb, not Y-O-U-R-E, dumb. You are dumb. You're dumb. I love that one. That's my favourite. Well, it's one of my favourites. You're an idiot. Y-O-U-R, an idiot. You think? You're kind of advertising your own idiocy right about now. You funk soul speller. All right, what's another one? Doxing. Have they blame it on autocorrect? Really? I haven't seen that. That'd be worth a second shot. Because we all know that autocorrect doesn't correct things within close range of what you type. For example, I had a phone years ago. If I type the word cycle, like C-Y-C-L-E, my phone auto-corrected to anal. I am not joking, which was quite disturbing. And people say, oh, it auto-corrects to words you use a lot. No, I didn't use the word anal a lot. In fact, I probably never used it, unless I might have said, oh, I'm a bit anal about doing the dishes before I go to bed. But whenever I typed cycle, it auto-corrected to anal. Autocorrect doesn't correct to things that are close. Every time I type don't in Messenger, do not, don't, it changes it to sunny. Ah, ladies and ladies. Yeah, people aren't great with apostrophes. Oh, so you do get, see, my autocorrect chooses a word absolutely nothing like the word I'm intending. Like how does the word don't get autocorrected to sunny with a capital S? Or cycle gets changed to anal. I had a lesbian phone too, which was quite funny because I've got a few lesbian friends, and that actually changed words to make things have like a lesbian double entendre. So like I'd say, oh, I hope I can see you soon and give you a big hug, but it would change hug to rug. Like all these sort of lesbian words and terms and stuff, my phone would change it. I'm trying to think, there were a few more. It was funny as. Thankfully, my Lesbos, because it would change lesbian to Lesbos friends. It's 60 along here, so don't tailgate me or try to make me go faster. I will accelerate shortly when the speed goes up to 110. But for now, please get off my derriere. Thank you. You've just worked out, yeah, I always read it as gutsy. I mean, I worked out what it meant. But yeah, those sort of modern day, you know, thank you very much, TYVMs and stuff. Some of those, it takes a little while to work that out. And you know when people in chat do like an abbreviation for a creator, say for example, Science Girl, they type SG. I seriously would go through my mind all the people I've seen around YouTube and try to work it out, and then I couldn't, and then I'd be like, SG, Savage Garden, are they talking music? Are they talking Aussie 80s music? The fuck is SG? And I couldn't work them out either. Um, and some of the abbreviations for creators, like there's always an extra letter or one missing that throws me as well. But doxing's another one, because doxing requires malicious intent, usually. Because why else would you put someone's information out in a public domain unless you were hoping someone would spot it and use that information for seedy reasons? But if I give out my full name or my street address, I haven't doxed myself because the element of malicious intent isn't there. Or if I say, Ruth, how are things doing in England? I'm not doxing Ruth. Ruth has got a channel and she's English. There ain't no malicious intent. And I could go back to this maths chick who has recently put out photos from OnlyFans, which is a subscription service, and it's against terms of service to share content from that platform out into the public arena. But she got the photo and showed it to other people on Married at First Sight and was told that that was malicious, and she denies there was any malicious intent. So then they said, well, why did you do it? And a few of the other contestants chimed in and they're like, yeah, why? Why would you do that? And her response was, I don't know. Because she knows she did it with malicious intent. Yeah, look, doxing with malicious intent is vindictive and horrible for sure. But when you see people losing their shit because someone's gone, how's the weather in England, Ruth? Oh my God, she just doxed Ruth. You're a doxer. You're a real lifer. No. There wasn't any malicious intent. There's an element in that crime that I didn't have. Don't get me wrong, I think doxing is deplorable, and holy shit, the legislation in Australia, the cyber legislation and the changes and the things that are coming soon, I'm going to do a live about it because it's fucking awesome. And if those laws were legislated in America, 90% of the YouTube channels we all used to frolic around would be fucked. Their capacity to earn money would drop significantly because so much of what they do is now illegal in Australia. And if they do it to an Australian, they better be careful as well. I mean, the people that feel like they wake up and go, today I'm going to call that person's employer, wash in the fuckity fuck. But also, I'm still so confused about employers who end up sacking their staff because of some random freak on the internet who's become a pest and is calling them and telling them all this salacious stuff about their employee. Like, I don't understand why an employer isn't taking action against the doxer. You know, the people that claim they've been sacked because of somebody calling the employer, I don't understand why those employers are taking that course of action. Like, harassment is a crime, and there's harassment laws as far as I'm aware in the States, and if a company's getting a shitload of phone calls from a fucking Fruit Loop off YouTube, why wouldn't you be reporting that to the cops? Why would you sack your employee? And in Australia, if an employer sacked an employee because they were being doxxed, I'm pretty sure the employee would win an unfair dismissal case. So you can't be sacked because some fruit bat on YouTube is pestering your boss and telling them bullshit about you. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just... But yeah, the channels that like to have a crack at Aussie channels, and some of them have gone way beyond doing anything remotely reasonable. Like, there's been some horrific shit done, but you want to be really careful fucking with anyone on YouTube who's in Australia, because our laws that are emerging are pretty fucking full on, and rightly so. I mean, even this Married at First Sight chick that I was just chatting about, the one that released the OnlyFans photo, there's an online petition at the moment for her to be charged with numerous offences for that. Sharing a photo without someone's permission, irrespective of it being on a site that is behind a paywall. But yeah, I might do a live about it because it's pretty interesting stuff. Not everyone will be into it, but some of you might. What you don't know about the law could fill volumes of books. Yeah, but even that, if they're showing videos of the employee being horrible and gross, I don't see the creators that are being really horrible and gross being the ones that are being doxxed, you know, like, or they're not employed. Like Molly Golightly, for example, can do and say whatever the fuck she wants because she works for herself. But my employer, if my employer was sent a video of me doing something horrible and gross on YouTube, like, I don't know, cooking something really badly or playing the recorder, they're probably my biggest offences on YouTube. Like, but say I was a horrible and gross YouTuber, if it was hate speech and racist and shit like that, then yeah, she'd definitely be concerned. But if I was having some kind of bizarre rant, she'd want to know the backstory. She'd want to watch the entire thing. She'd be like, what's going on? I'd be like, well, it's my YouTube persona, and somebody said this about me and it's my way of responding. Like, if my boss sacked me over that, she would be taken by me straight to the Fair Work Commission. And considering the area of law I work in, which is pretty much human rights, workers' rights, yeah, hello. We refer our clients to the Fair Work Commission when they have been unfairly dismissed. She wouldn't want to be rocking up there defending her behaviour. But the laws here with electronic offending are getting very strict, and they're really progressive and interesting. So I will be showing you guys some of that stuff. And I mentioned Space Monster earlier as, I think, one of, if not the most eloquent person I've heard on YouTube out of those communities where we first started. If some of the laws that are in place now in Australia had been in place back when she was being doxxed and her parents were being contacted and her employer and so on, she'd be having a field day right now with some lawsuits, and rightly so. I don't think that's naive, Lorianne, and I ask myself the same question all the time. Which is why I love where I live, because there's a lot of common decency still here. So there are things that I hear and see on YouTube that I literally, my eyes end up out on sticks. And not just that someone has said those things, but the echo chamber in chat that don't see anything wrong with it, and the lack of people calling out that shitty behaviour, that adds to my absolute bewildered awe that this stuff even goes on and that people tolerate it and don't question it. Your jaw is I know, constantly dropping. It's the number of times I've heard something and gone, huh, did they just say that? Because I often will have YouTube playing in the background while I'm doing stuff, but I'll drop everything and run over and look at chat. And then in chat, everyone's going, yeah, well said. Good on you. And everyone up on panel's like, yeah, well said. Good on you. And I'm just going, hang on, wait, no. No. If we were at a party and somebody said some of the things that are said on YouTube at that party and everybody heard it, they'd be kicked out of the party. They would be given multiple death stares and nobody would ever speak to them again. You'd cross the road to avoid speaking to them if you saw them in the street. But on YouTube, they get a round of applause for their shitty words. And no one's got the balls to call them out. And then if people do call them out, all of those fuckwits in the chat call that person, oh, that person's insane, they're crazy, they're an idiot, they're deluded, they've got rocks in their head. Like, they instantly label someone crazy who's like, this person said this shit about me and it's not okay. I see the frustration of so many creators and even subscribers now who've had shitty things said about them, and God forbid they go live and try to defend themselves or explain it or educate people about what's going on. Because the second they do that, they're then labelled by the other community as being unhinged and crazy or a liar. And, you know, how many times do you have to bang your head against a wall hoping that one person will hear you and start white knighting for you? Sorry. Just stick it up for you. Not white knighting. I couldn't resist. Constant hate stirring, yeah. If you go in a chat and disagree, you just get made fun of and blocked. Yeah, I know. But that, to me, is a sign that that's not the right community for most of us anyway. Like, I wouldn't hang out with people in real life that don't engage in two-way conversations. Like, I don't hang out with people that are mouthy and opinionated and nasty, and then when you go to respond to what they've said, they do the no deal, arms crossed symbol. Silence, fool. No, I don't hang out with them. But YouTubers that are like that, oh, their subscribers stick with that shit, and they love it when people get blown. It's like, oh, that's why Critical K used to do my head in. She was the biggest hypocrite on YouTube. All about encouraging critical thinking. So critical thinkers would go in there and picture a viable scenario that didn't fit her narrative, and you'd get blocked. Censoring anyone in a critical thinking community for thinking critically and coming up with another option, because I love playing devil's avocado. I don't always even believe the version or the opinion or the alternative viewpoint that I've come up with. I just like throwing it in the mix because lawyers, we have to think of every different scenario and argument, right? So I'd be a devil's avocado and and I know it's advocate, I've always said devil's avocado my whole life because I try to be funny like that, but I'd throw some, alternative concepts into a discussion in that channel and blocked. I mean, I got kicked out of her Facebook group for expressing a viewpoint that she believed was not expanding the discussion but actually restricting it. Kicked out. Yeah, I want an avocado now too. But I like doing that, especially on YouTube. I think, oh, okay, we're having a discussion about this, so let's look at all the different angles and throw a different viewpoint. No, free thinking isn't allowed. And I got blocked in her channel for saying that. And that's where that sort of the mass following of subscribers not calling bullshit out, and you just go, where did you free? I mean, I've been frustrated by the lack of free thinking on YouTube since I found it. I was surprised very early on how so many people just go, yeah, I agree. And they're like, no, that's actually wrong. Especially when they're talking about something that we've all witnessed and we know the truth. We know that's not what happened. And if you've got all these supporters going, we're with you, this is unfair. And it's like, that isn't what happened. We saw what happened. And that's what's happening with this horrible Olivia on Married at First Sight. Like, everyone has seen what has happened, and she continues to exaggerate, and her hyperbole is out of control. And she's a liar too. She actually is a liar. That's another word that gets used a lot on YouTube. Liar. When I don't necessarily think it should be used, because I can be quite vague and forgetful. I can remember really bizarre things and then couldn't tell you what I wore yesterday. My memory is brilliant in some regards and fucking hopeless in others. But if I was on YouTube and I said something and I thought that was accurate in my recollection of something, and I got it wrong, and then because of that I'm then labelled a liar, that would really annoy me, because making a mistake isn't lying, it's making a mistake. And we all do that. But this chick on maths is a compulsive liar and also exaggerates things. And she should be called a liar because she is. But yeah, one fuck up on YouTube and you're a liar. And yet that same creator who's calling everyone else a liar makes a mistake and they get called a liar too, because everyone on YouTube seems to be in this weird, let's totally misuse all of our grammar world. And they'll go live for 6 hours and go, I'm not a liar, I made a mistake. It's like, okay, but you're happy to call everyone else a liar if they won't make a mistake. Got it. One rule for you and one rule for everybody else, right? The teenage words like jealousy that get used a lot, or the he started it, she started it. Do you remember that shit when you were in primary school? I do. Do you remember that shit stopping when you left primary school? I do. How's your dad doing, Scout? Oh no, Tawny, common decency is not rare in this part of YouTube. We've got a lot of it in the Traces of Nuts community. And there's a few other creators that have it too. But outside of them, you're right. Common decency is rare. You hear everyone is an empath. Yeah, that word gets used a lot, doesn't it? Oh, hello, Casper. Hello, crime scene cleaner. Simping. What is simping? There's another term that they use too. I still don't get lols. Cow? Dad's doing good. He just wanted to see you. Oh, bless. So did you FaceTime so he could see your beautiful face? Dad's a special. I miss my dad. I miss my mum too. I've got so many friends who still have both of their parents, and I'm like, how am I 55? Or I mean, even how was I 45 and don't have any parents? Simping is when, oh, okay, when you like women on the internet. What's wrong with that then? Why don't, because I've heard them call simp, like, I've heard them use simp in a really negative way. I'm just taking my glasses off for a second to put on some makeups because we don't wear masks in the office now. Yeah, when I hear people calling someone on YouTube a simp, it sounds like if they're being mean about it, like it's a nasty thing to say. What's nasty about liking women on the internet? And can women be simps if they like women on the internet? Can women be simps if they like men on the internet? Can anyone be a simp if they like anyone who identifies as anything on the internet? Or is it just men who like women? I don't get that. Why? Because I've heard people go, oh, he's just a fucking simp. Oh, well, why is it a negative? What kind of world do we live in that there are derogatory words to describe people who like people? Is there more to it? Like if they're stalkers, then they just call them stalkers. Hey, the art of handmade dolls and stuff. You've been missing your dad, Laurie. Big hugs. I miss my mum and dad more and more the older I get. Grief is weird, isn't it? You know, like it never ends. But I find the longer it goes that I haven't got my mum and dad, anything that goes on in our lives, I'm saddened that they've missed out on it. My mum has missed out on so much. Your dad is hot stuff, cute. That's what Google says. So why is it used? Yeah, I think we'd all like to be liked, right? Okay, here we go. The slang simping. Simp is an internet slang term describing someone who shows excessive sympathy and attention towards another person. It's funny that you say that. I really miss my dad around football season, and football season's just started in Australia. Dad was a massive Geelong Cats fan, and I really miss Dad when footy's on because I used to love watching the footy with him. I still don't see what's negative about being a simp. Excessive sympathy and attention. Well, I mean, excessive attention can be a bit creepy. You know, if it's getting to the obsessive, stalkery, pervy kind of level. But I don't see anything wrong with sympathy and excessive sympathy. I mean, I'm not a fan of anything that's, you know, extreme. But I don't know. There's so many people that have absolutely no sympathy. They bug me more than someone who might be a bit excessive in their sympathising. How can you be?
How can you have excessive sympathy? Like, who decides at what point sympathy has reached its limit? That's a weird definition. Like, when does sympathy become too much sympathy? Sympathy's like, it's just an emotional thing. It's not like excessive paintballing, excessive graffiti. Like, they're too nice. They care about me too much. They sympathize with my tragic situation too much. Back off. I'm overflowing in your sympathy and it's disturbing me. I don't get it. Oh, Joey Wilson's entered the arena. The internet is getting creepy. Oh, your dad loved the New York Yankees. I'm an empath. I care and feel. Yeah, look, and it's awful. I mean, I burst into tears when I see a dead animal on the side of the road. In fact, I cried last night because there was a baby possum and a few meters later, a little baby Joey, like a little kangaroo, and I cried. Good morning, YouTube land. I'm with you, Lorianne. I'd rather care too much than not at all. Okay, sympathy and attention toward another person, typically someone who does not reciprocate the same feelings in order to win their affection. This is usually done in pursuit of a sex. Oh, God, this definition's long. All right. I did see what you did there, Joey. Yeah, those who lack sympathy are usually sociopaths and narcissists. Oh, the moral police. Yes, that's another one that gets a... Joey, we're talking about expressions and terms and things on YouTube that we hear a lot of, and they're being used out of context in a nutshell. Yeah, exactly. But if you do have too much sympathy, you're a simp, and that's bad. But it looks like the definition that's been thrown into chat, it's pretty full on. I thought it was something like that too, Ruth, short for simpleton. Oh, Francesca, hello. You're definitely not looking for set. Well, I was about to say, look, let's be honest. A lot of people meet each other online now. Like, it is another way to meet people. And even if you're online and you're being overly sympathetic to someone because you've got a bit of a thing for them and you'd like to shag them, you're possibly living in countries on opposite sides of the world. So what's the likelihood? And the person that doesn't want to have sex with the other one just says, no, thank you. Like, if someone's a little bit over enthusiastic in their affections, you might just block them, you know? You might just be like, you started out a little bit cute and you made me feel good. Like, who doesn't like a compliment? But now it's getting a bit creepy. Creepy McCreepsworth might just say, can you tone it down a little? And if they don't, you're like, fair warning given. Consider yourself blocked. Or is the threat of cyber sex impossible to avoid? I don't know. Yeah, that's what a simp is. Don't call anyone in the UK a simp, especially going north. All right, we'll file that away for good advice. Yeah, me too, Joey. I think I'll have to do a live about this. Let's do a live about this. Because when you actually pull things apart and analyse it, you go, yeah. And that's the thing with YouTube and online generally. All this shit goes on because people are just assholes online, let's be honest. And everyone gets so fired up about it, but every bloody social media platform on the planet has a block button. Like, it was created for a reason. But instead of them just going, oh, fuck him, he's a dickhead, I'm going to block him, We have years and years of that person being abused. It's just like in your real life, if you meet someone who gives you the heebie-jeebies, you don't keep engaging with them for 3.5 fucking years and doing lives about them and sending the pack after them. You just go, that person's creepy. I'm not going to hang out with them anymore. Like, the way we block people in our real lives is we just disengage. Or if it's excessive, we report them to the police. But on YouTube, no. Oh, he's been stalking me for 7 years on YouTube. He's creepy. And they're still in their chat. Freak. Oh, you got to laugh, good kiddos. You got to laugh. I feel the same way about cyber. Oh, well, I don't know. I used to travel a lot for work. I didn't mind the occasional phone sex with my lover. I'm not going to lie. We're learning a lot of new stuff. I think I definitely have to do a live on this topic. Oh, that's horrible that yesterday was the International Day of Down Syndrome Peeps. And there were some beautiful articles. There was a girl that I think she's about 62 now, and she was always told that the extent of her Down syndrome, she'd never be able to live independently, and she is. And she was saying how proud her mum and dad are. It was really beautiful. I was like, go, you good thing, go. You just asked cousin in Redcar if she's a simp, and she called you some very rude words. Well, I mean, we all know what you do for a living. They creep themselves out. I mean, it's weird because crime scene cleaner, I used to be at the crime scene, and then your groovers would rock up and tidy it all up, and I think, oh my God, you people are unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anastasia Beaverhausen, hello, beautiful. How you doing? Oh, you've got a stalker out of Handmade Dolls? Yeah, I mean, I'm immature on YouTube, but I think I'm still respectful. And I think I'm immature in a dignified way. Has XTube gone? But RedTube's still around, Jojo. I didn't know XTubes had gone. I was never an XTubes girl. I'm more of a RedTubes girl, so they're still around. If you're looking for somewhere to go. Yeah, looks obsessed stalker types are kind of bizarre. They don't really get called out, they just cruise around, and some people know they're a bit weird and avoid them, and others are just like, hey, how you doing, gorgeous? It's a parallel universe where everything we know in our real life doesn't apply, where even words and definitions and expressions are completely rewritten. I mean, we've already ripped I could care less to pieces, but, white knighting, we talked about that, doxing. And then you've got the rules of YouTube are you've just got to say she started it, and that's your defense for being an asshole. You're a liar if you forget something. To be honest, Joey, I've never really noticed the difference between X and Red. I think they're kind of much of a muchness. I'm sorry to hear that out of Handmade Dolls and stuff, but I mean, I'm hoping that you've kept records of it all and reported it to the right people. But, at the end of the day, unless you open your front door and they're standing on your doorstep, it's a hard case to win the cyber stalking kind of stuff. But with the new legislation in Australia, it's not going to be that hard. So I'm kind of interested in doing that live and chatting about it, because it'd be interesting to see if some of the creators in the US that have done some pretty shit to some Australian creators will continue that behaviour when they're potentially going to get into a lot of shit. A lot. And we've got like an e-commission here now for all of the online offending. And like I was saying earlier, I mean, with MAFS at the moment, there's an e-petition for them to look into the behaviour of Olivia. And, you know, it's Australians are getting onto this pretty quickly and putting issues before the e-commissioner and yeah, show us the receipts. That's been, I mean, that was a term that Mandy Bell used back in the Jays for Justice days back in 2018. And I'd never heard that expression before. And I literally would be like, what are they talking about? They're going to pull something out of their wallet, send out a screenshot. That's a word that's been bastardized. I mean, just show us the proof would work, wouldn't it? Show us the evidence. No, show us the receipts. Okay. Here's my receipt from Coles when I bought some food for Sunny the other day. Is that sufficient? Or do you want the receipt for what I'm paying for petrol at the moment? That's kind of relevant. But yeah, Mandy Bell was the first person to use that term in my little world of YouTubes. And at the time I was like, that's really bizarre. But she also used a Texan expression that I'd never heard before, which is like, I'm fixing to go out to dinner, as opposed to I'm getting ready to go out to dinner. Like, I'm fixing. I hadn't heard that before either. And I actually use it now here and people understand what I'm saying. But it's not an expression used here at all, really. Yeah, well, that's the thing that sucks out of handmade dolls is that when you have got legal options, you know, it's going to depend if you've got the money. And I didn't know that about Sam. I didn't know that. Interesting. That explains a lot. They also say you co-sign. Oh, yeah, like when you're co-signing behaviour and as opposed to like condoning. I'm so sorry to hear all of this out of handmade dolls. I can't even give you any advice on that. It's awful. I really don't know what you can do. Oh, Anastasia Beaverhausen, I 100% agree. I mean, I've probably been flagged in most YouTube communities because I have often gone to channels of feuding parties because I like them both because they entertain me. I don't necessarily like them as human beings or they're not necessarily people I would hang out with in my real life. But in terms of YouTube, for me, it's all about entertainment. I'm probably one of those people where everyone's like, oh, she's, you know, a flip flopper or she's, you know, because I for me, it's always been about entertainment. I certainly don't take a lot of those communities seriously, and I'm not going there to be educated or anything like that. Oh, yeah, the overused word ain't, and also don't gets overused too. I'm trying to think of when that's used in a weird way. She don't care. She don't care. You knew something was up. Yeah, she's weird. She's horrible. I mean, the way she handled that whole nude photo scandal and sticking up for Olivia, that indicated to me I mean, I already thought she was horrible, but. So she's already got a bad record out of Hamid, and you still kind of. Yeah, that's creepy. You really hate how everyone says friend. If you don't really know them in real life, they're not a friend. But what about people like, there's people in my chat that I chat to in Messenger and stuff or emails or whatever outside of YouTube, but I consider them very good friends, even though I've never actually sat at a table with them and had coffee. And the last few years with COVID, I think a lot of friendships have grown online because we haven't physically been able to connect. But do you think that can't be a real friendship? I mean, I don't know. Some of you might remember Freddie. I used to do a few shows with him back in 2019. We've known each other for over 2 decades now. I consider him one of my closest friends. I've never actually been in the same room as him. Watch out what people tell you on a public live. You will then be accused of telling. Oh, yeah, I think we could do a series of live streams on this topic. The I love you. Yeah, that was one of the things that actually made me quite wary in the JS for Justice community was how quickly I love you was being thrown around. It did not sit well with me at all. I was like, huh? How can you be saying something like that? Like that, those words mean something, and I'm not really down with "I love you" after 5.5 minutes. That's never sat well with me. I might take my basket with me because I've got so many bottles of milk and water and shit today. I forgot I'm actually, due to start work shortly. I just looked at the clock and I was like, oh, 10 minutes. Yeah, if you're speaking with people on a regular, I feel people are friends online. I treat people good. Not everyone comes online. No, and look, I mean, at the end of the day, I find online is a really good place to be entertained and try to be entertaining, but also just to hang out with like-minded peeps. And that's it, Joey Wilson. Like, we all keep a huge part of our lives to ourselves. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in my real world that I've never talked about on here and never will. And there's a lot of people on YouTube that clearly do play a character. Molly Golightly is a classic example. Yeah, crime scene cleaner is incredible. It's a job that not many people would want to do, but it's so important for the victims' families, and the difference it can make to people when they're going through something incredibly traumatic is incredible, which is why I adore you for doing that, crime scene cleaner, because I know exactly how it can impact the people that are left with that to deal with. I hear you, Francesca. I love your guts. I mean, I know I've only known you for 38 seconds, but love your guts, girl. People, yeah, I hear what you're saying, Anastasia. People in chat, and they're, I mean, I'm kind of wary about who I trust these days. I used to trust everyone until they gave me a reason not to, until I got completely reamed more than once, and not literally. And but online, everything is taken with a grain of salt. But I can see the gold and the goodness. And people that I once called friends that I met online, I'm no longer friends with. Friendships can be fickle too, because on YouTube, you can break up with a friend, inverted commas, over something so minor. But in the real world, nobody's perfect, and your friends do and say things at times that you don't agree with, and so do you. But it doesn't end the friendship. You don't write off someone that you actually genuinely care about over them saying one thing about you on your online that was negative or critical. Yes, and you're everyone in my channel is a good friend to me. I think some of you are very close to me, and I feel very close to you too. Yeah, it would be. But you're also making a massive difference to their mental health and well-being by doing what you do. The number of people that I know who've been left to clean up, especially a suicide, and they're trying to come to terms with the fact that they've lost that family member or friend or person that they love to bits, and then they've got to clean it up. It's heartbreaking, and it scars them significantly. We love you too, Ruth. There is a lot of love. No, well, I mean, I haven't forgotten a lot of them either from being called out to them. And as a criminal defence lawyer, I've seen some shockers. I mean, I've also seen horrific photos. See, look at Joey. I like his all. I love our community, though. We adopt native critters, and don't forget, April's nearly here. We're going to be adopting a little Joey. Oh, they're all called Joeys. We're going to be adopting a baby kangaroo. We've already got our own Joey. There isn't room for another one. I do too. I think what I like about here is, and whether people want to use the word love or not, but for me, I love that we just can hang out and catch up with each other. I love seeing chat. Everyone's aware that someone might be going through something and checking in and seeing how they're doing. I think it's heartwarming. I love that we have, and I love that it's a little community. I love that it hasn't been overrun with fuckwits and assholes, because God knows there's a shitload of them on YouTube. I'm grateful every day that this community is off everyone's radar. But I've also gone out of my way to try to keep it off everyone's radar. And I'm losing subscribers every week at the moment, because I did that parody with Mel Mel, and I did a reaction video to AD, and suddenly I had a lot of people watching me, and now they've all gone, oh, she's actually really boring. Because they don't want to hang around in a community where people actually give a fuck about each other. They'd rather hang out in communities where people don't give a fuck about each other. But that's not going to ever be this community. Oh, how exciting! Finally getting your puppy to train as a service dog. Cute. It was a dream to have your own petting zoo. Look at timestamp 5:16. You love, you hate, you love. To me, that's a beautiful, hey? To me, that's a beautiful heart, because you find love in people even after hate or pain, Tawny. Oh, okay. I've got to go into the office shortly. I went outside to check on things because of storms. Oh my God. Oh, Crystal, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm very sorry to hear about the connection to a suicide, but also stay safe with the storms too. Your friend Brian went and hid on a tree. I think he thought he was well hidden until, oh no. I feel bad because I've got to go to work, and everyone's pouring their hearts out about really heavy topics, and I feel bad because I have to end this live and go and do my job. But look, I'm off work for the next 5 days, and I think I'll set up a live at a time where we all should be able to mingle. Because there's been a few things that we've talked about today that we could do lots of lives on. But I just want to say, well, so sorry, I've got to go to work. Yeah, I am too. yeah, I'm sad now. Hopefully my clients won't be. I had really sad clients yesterday. Can you all put out vibes that I get clients today that are not emotionally broken right now? Because I kind of need that today. Heavy stuff, guys. How can we end on a slightly cheery note? It's definitely time, and I've got the time now. My summer housemates and visitors and so much are starting to dwindle. It's getting colder, and that means I like staying inside. I don't like being on a computer when the weather is beautiful outside, unless it's batshit and it's only an hour long. But yeah, I think we've all got stuff to talk about. But let's find a positive note to end on. I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful that people are open in this chat and we'll talk about things that are personal and feel, I'm not going to say safe because there's nothing safe on the internet, but feel comfortable and able to chat about it in here. I think that's really lovely. There you go. Scout's done a very positive message. I want everyone to have a wonderful day and night wherever you are. Good vibes for happier customers. Thank you. Or clients, yes. You're happy to have caught a live. Awesome. Beautiful little love heart there. See, look. All the loves. Oh, Crime Scene Cleaner. Throwing up some hearts as well. There's always something to be grateful for, and I'm grateful that we can talk about stuff that is really personal and not feel judged. And our medicine man cruising in with a positive message as always. Peace be with you all, with love surrounding always. And yeah, everyone, find a reason to hone in on something that makes you laugh today, whether it's, hanging out with your animals, calling a friend that you miss, just having a good old laugh. I don't know, even if you've got an Alexa or a Google Nest, even ask them for the joke of the day. They're so bad they'll make you laugh. I love you, Groovers. Have a good one wherever you are in the world, and thank you for being such a rip snorter of community. You're awesome.